Hello everyone, this is part 3 of What If Naruto Was the Hollow God, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
At the same time that Naruto was talking with Tenten and the others in the Curry of Life shop, Taya has arrived at the top of the Katabami gold mine, and has seen Raiga standing over the defeated forms of Lee and Neji. It looked like they have passed out, and from the looks of it, they are about to be killed. Now, while Taya doesn't know the two kids, and doesn't really care if they live or die, Naruto sent her to deal with Raiga, and since she is already there, she might as well save those brats. Taya walked toward Raiga, who noticed her before she was too close. He looked at her with narrowed eyes, and wondered who she is and why she was there. Who are you? Raiga asked. My name is Taya, she introduced herself. I'm here to take your head. Is that so? Raiga questioned and let lightning chakra flow through his blades. Well then, let's see if you have the skill to take my head. Raiga placed his blades in order to touch each other, and then sent electrical essence into the thunder clouds above him. Lightning Fang. He yelled his starting attack, and immediately, a bolt of lightning fell from the sky and went straight at Taya. Taya drew her own sword, and swung it above her head, from right to left. Lightning Dome. She yelled, and created a dome of electricity around her, which was then struck by Raiga's attack, and completely absorbed, much to Raiga's shock. Taya then lowered her sword, closed her eyes, and started absorbing all the lightning from around her. Once she did that, she opened her eyes, which were now glowing yellow. Electricity was also surrounding her body, now that she has absorbed a large amount of pure lightning into herself. It will take a whole lot more than that to wound me, Taya said, while sending the lightning from her body, into her sword, while keeping it pointed at Raiga. I don't even want to talk about defeating me. Thunder Beam. Taya fired electrical beam from her sword, right at Raiga, who barely managed to jump away from the very powerful attack. He was glad that he dodged it, because when he looked at the destruction caused by the attack, he knew right away that he would have been obliterated if he was hit, and not even his blades would have saved him. Taya didn't wait for Raiga to start with his next attack. She ran at him at her fastest speed, and appeared in front of a shocked Raiga, in a single second, after which, she swung her sword at him, hoping to cut him right away and be done with him. Raiga barely managed to block Taya's attack, with his own blades, which he crossed together, and caught Taya's sword in between his own. Right away, he channeled lightning chakra through his swords, and sent lightning charge to Taya's sword and then at her body, electrocuting her in the process. Taya gritted her teeth at being caught by surprise, and paid it by being electrocuted. The good thing for her, is that because of her overwhelming mastery over lightning, she has a partial immunity to lightning, which allowed her to go through Raiga's attack, with barely any damage, and only a little pain. Taya and Raiga backed away from each other, and stared for a few moments, before they charged the next attacks. Raiga went and created a ball of lightning in between his swords, and launched it at Taya, who slashed her sword and sent an electrical slash at the lighting ball. The two attacks collided and negated each other. After that, Raiga decided to send, not one, but many lightning balls at Taya, but she countered them all with her slashes. Lightning Dragon Tornado. Raiga yelled his most powerful attack, after he got annoyed by Taya either countering or not being affected by his attack. Lightning and wind formed around Raiga, and shaped into a form of a swirling dragon head with red eyes. Seeing Raiga's next attack, Taya sent quite a bit of her chakra into her blade, which was then surrounded by black lightning. She looked at the lightning dragon coming toward her, so she immediately dashed toward it, with her sword pointed backwards. Thunder Slash. Taya shouted her own attack, and swung her sword, which hit Raiga's lightning dragon tornado, and cut through it like hot knife thought butter. Since he was in the middle of his own attack, Raiga was also cut by Taya's attack, and severely wounded. Blood flew from Raiga's chest, which had a very big cut across it. On top of that, the black lighting was now also surrounding Raiga, and was electrocuting him, causing him even more damage and pain, which was shown by his scream. Taya was standing behind Raiga, without a scratch on her. She turned her head, and saw Raiga fall on the ground, his blades lying next to him. XXX. You never told us, why you want to take over the Katabami gold mine. Sancho questioned. Well, I have some plans for the future, Naruto said. And to be able to accomplish those plans, I need money. Taking over some mines seems like a good way to get a lot of money. It will certainly bring me more than bounty hunting and gambling. So, you don't plan to buy the Katabami gold mine? Sancho questioned again. You just plan to take over like Kurosuke family did. From what Taya told me, there are no owners of the Katabami gold mine, Naruto said. So I can't buy it from anyone, even if I wanted to. The government leaders which used to control the mine are not actually its owners, and have no right to want money for it. On top of that, they were exploiting people while they had control over the mine, and run away with their tails between their legs when Raiga showed up. Because of that, I wouldn't have paid them even if they were the owners. And if you take over the mine, do you plan to run it like the government leaders, or like Raiga did? Karashi asked. I don't have any intention to exploit people, Naruto said. If someone works in the mine, they are paid for their work, and that's that. As for burying people alive, yeah, I don't find that shit amusing. If someone annoys me, I just kill them quickly. Everyone in the room shivered when they heard Naruto's words. They knew, even though it sounds a bit unbelievable, that he is not joking. Tenten finally decided to ask something which she wanted to ask Naruto ever since she saw him. Who are you, exactly? What do you do for a living, and what are those plans of yours you mentioned earlier? Naruto looked at Tenten, and then at the others in the room. He saw that they all had curious looks on their faces, as they seemed to want to know the answers to those questions as well. You can think of me as a Ronin, Naruto said. I had ninja training, but I have never actually been one. You can also consider me a professional gambler. As for my plans, well, I want to build a country. Once he said that, 4 pair of eyes widened to epic proportions. What do you mean, build a country? Tenten asked. Naruto shrugged. It's just as it sounds, he said. I have no place to call home, so I want to build one. I have also been traveling around the EN, and have seen that there are a lot of people who live miserable lives for one reason or another, and I want to do something about that. I plan to build a country and offer all those who want to live happy and free lives, away from those who wish to repress them in any way. Of course, building a country takes time, but most importantly, money, which is why I'm going around, trying to find a way to earn as much money as fast as possible. After a minute of silence, where they all thought about what Naruto said, Sancho said. That seems like a noble goal, young man, and I hope that you are able to accomplish it one day. Thank you. Naruto said. But where do you plan to build a country? Tenten asked. All the nations have leaders, and I don't know of any nation without the leader, or even free land where you can build a country from nothing. Naruto smirked. There are many uninhabited islands all over the sea, Tenten, Naruto said. And most of them are not part of any other nation, so they don't have leaders. I can easily find an island which suits my needs, and build a country there. I see, Tenten said. And do you plan to build a hidden village as well in that country? Naruto thought about if he should tell her or not. In the end, he decided not to tell her, as he knows that she will tell all of this to Konoha leaders, and they might try to cause him trouble because he plans to build a hidden village, which could become a competition to the other hidden villages around the N. As of right now, no, Naruto said. Building a country is already big enough job. If I were to try and build a hidden village, I would have even more job, since I would have to find shinobi and ninja clans to join the village, and that's a hassle and is not worth it. Besides, there are a lot of nations who don't have hidden villages, so why should I bother to build one? Tenten nodded in understanding. She was, in a way, happy that there won't be another hidden village, as that would mean that her own village might lose potential clients, and in the future, that village might end up as another enemy for Konoha. Then again, it might be a good idea to tell to the Elder Council when she returns to Konoha about all that she found out from Naruto and Taya, about Taya's power, as well as about Naruto's plans. If only she could find a way to find out how powerful Naruto is, but she can't just ask him, as he might get suspicions. While Tenten was trying to find a way to gauge out Naruto's power, Taya walked through the entrance of the Curry of Life shop. Lee and Neji were walking behind her, though at the safe distance, as they seemed to be careful around her. Is the job done? Naruto asked, and Taya only nodded, but didn't say anything. She walked over to one of the chairs and sat down. Where is Raiga? Taya pointed to the scroll tied to her hip. Naruto nodded and didn't say or ask anything else. Ranmaru though, he looked at the scroll, and knew that Raiga was dead. He started to cry as Raiga, even though he was not exactly a nice person, was his friend, and someone, without whom, Ranmaru wouldn't be alive at this point. It was Raiga who saved him, it was Raiga who took him with him, cared for him, and showed him the world. Without him, right now, he would be just bones in the small cottage in the land of water, where he used to live. Sancho tried to comfort Ranmaru, by hugging him and telling him everything will be okay, but it wasn't helping much. Tenten also tried to help, as she didn't want to see the kid cry for someone who, even though has helping him survive, clearly wasn't a nice person. The others in the room were quiet, though all except Naruto were looking at Ranmaru and feeling sad for him. Naruto felt nothing. After few minutes, Ranmaru managed to calm down and stopped crying. That's when Tenten asked him what he plans to do now. I don't know, Ranmaru said. I can't go anywhere by myself. Raiga was my hands and legs, without him, I'm useless. What do you want to do? Surprisingly, it was Naruto who asked. Hearing the question, everyone looked at him, including Ranmaru. What do you mean? Ranmaru asked. Raiga might be dead, Naruto said. But you are alive, even though you have health issues. So, is there something that you would want to do, or see? If it is, you should do everything you can to find a way to do it, regardless of your health problems. One thing you should learn and follow until the day you die, is that as long as you are alive, you shouldn't give up, and should do everything in your power to achieve your goals, regardless if they are good or bad. So, I ask you again. What is it you want to do with your life? Ranmaru went into deep thought after he heard Naruto's advice and question. What is it he wanted? Well, the answer is simply, he doesn't know. When he was living alone in that cottage, he didn't think he will live long enough to achieve anything. So there was no need to make some big plans for the future, or to have any dreams. After Raiga took him with him, he wanted to help Raiga accomplish his goals, no matter what they are, but he still didn't have anything he wanted to do, see or achieve for himself. Now that Raiga is dead, he has a chance to think about what to do with his life, but it's not easy to come up with something, when your entire life, you didn't think you will have a chance to accomplish anything. I don't know, Ranmaru said after few minutes of thinking. I never thought about wanting something in my life, as I never expected to have a chance to do anything. Well then, you should think about it, Naruto said. Now you have a chance and time to think. In the meantime, you could stay here, that is, of course, if the old lady doesn't have a problem with that. Naruto looked at Sancho, waiting to hear her answer. Everyone else did the same when they heard Naruto's suggestion. Sancho smiled. Of course I don't have any problem with that, she said while looking at Ranmaru. I will teach you how to make the curry of life, and you can stay here as long as you want, even forever if you wish to make a living out of making curry. Ranmaru was moved to tears by Sancho's generous offer, and has accepted it with a large smile on his face. The others in the room also has small smiles on their faces, as they were happy for the kid. With Ranmaru's problem finally over, Sancho decided to give everyone a portion of her curry of life, to celebrate and as a thank you, for saving the villagers and mine workers from Raiga and Kurosuke family. Neji and Tenten have declined, as politely as possible, the offer to eat any more of that curry, but their teammate, Lee, has decided that he will have their portions as well. It made the Hyuga and the weapons mistress of Konoha wonder, what kind of stomach Lee has. Everyone was surprised when Naruto and Taya took their portions and ate them with no problem whatsoever. When Naruto asked for seconds, Tenten and Neji fell over anime style, while Lee shouted about Naruto's youth, and hugged him with one arm, while he was shoveling curry into his mouth with the other. Naruto wasn't bothered, surprisingly, and was also eating with one arm, while also having a small smirk on his face. 4 people, 1 guy and 3 girls, are on the way to the southern port in the land of the hot water. They are going there to meet with Tayuya, who will then take them to the Whirlpool country, where Naruto will finally see his mother's birth country, and the same place, which he has decided to rebuild. It has been 3 months since Naruto and Taya were in the land of rivers, where they went to acquire the Katabami gold mine, and a lot has happened since then. First, after Raiga was disposed of, and the people in the village at the base of the Katabami gold mine heard who saved them, they were thankful to Naruto and Taya. That soon changed when they all heard that Naruto has come there to take over the mine. They weren't happy when they heard that, because they assumed he is just like the government leaders and Raiga were, and is going to just use them. Of course, they were wrong to compare Naruto to Raiga and some piss and government leaders. That was because, overall, Naruto is much, much worse than any of them. But, Naruto is not the kind of person who would exploit weak and poor, probably because he can see the original self in all those people, and knows what it's like to be at the mercy of those above you and those stronger than you. It took Naruto a while to convince the people that he will not use them like those before him did. He admitted that he is not a nice person, but he also said that he is not a cold-blooded bastard who would exploit the weak for his own gain or amusement. He promised that all those who chose to work in the mine will be paid, and will not be forced to work more than they could. After 2 days of negotiations, the villagers finally accepted to have Naruto as the new leader of the Katabami gold mine. Of course, Naruto wanted to have everything official and on paper, so to say, which is why he paid a visit to the daimyo of the Land of Rivers. The daimyo of the Land of the Rivers is a disgusting piece of shit, who was even able to make Naruto disgusted with how he looks and the stuff he was doing, and that's saying a lot, considering what Naruto has seen and done in his over a millennia-long life as a hollow. The daimyo is a very big and fat guy, to the point that he can barely more. When Naruto and Taya went to the royal palace, they first saw him seating in a big royal chair, which was big enough to have 3 regular-size people sit on it, one next to each other, but in the daimyo's case, he barely fits in the chair, and it looks like it will soon have to be replaced with a bigger one. In the throne room, there were dozens of samurai and even some ninja, on all sides of the room. They were there to protect the daimyo, even though some of them, obviously didn't want to do it, judging by the looks of disgust on their faces. But the worst thing about this daimyo, is the fact that he has several young girls, wearing nothing but skimpy bikinis, which are barely covering their modesty, but that's about it. Most of them are surrounding the daimyo, and are feeding him, while 3 of the girls were seating on his lap, with his hands going all over them, molesting them, much to the girls' horror and disgust. Unfortunately for them, they didn't have other choice but to take it and hope that one day, it will be over, though they have been losing hope as of late. Fortunately for the girls, and unfortunately for the daimyo, Naruto and Taya have arrived, and they, especially Taya, were not happy with what they were seeing. What happened next was a complete massacre of everything alive in the daimyo's palace. The samurai, ninja, government leaders and other agents, everyone was killed, even the daimyo's family, Koz and the guard dogs. The only beings left alive are the innocent girls, and the daimyo himself. The daimyo almost suffered a heart attack because of what he has just witnessed, as well as because of the sight or blood and internal organs, along with the disgusting smell left behind by dismembered corpses. The fear daimyo felt after witnessing all of that carnage was nothing compared to the fear he felt at the sight of Naruto standing in front of him with furious look on his face. It was too much for the fat sack of shit, and he lost control of himself and his bodily functions to the point he pissed and crapped himself. A few minutes later, and the Land of Rivers daimyo has signed over the Katabami gold mine to Taya, who then led the girls outside of the palace, leaving Naruto with the daimyo. Naruto then forced the daimyo, under the threat of most painful death, to sign over the whole Land of River to Naruto Uzumaki, who, from that moment, has become the daimyo of the Land of Rivers. The reason Naruto used his real name on the contract is because, as soon as the former daimyo has signed the contract, Naruto killed him by chopping off his head. Since everyone else has been killed, and the girls and Taya have been outside of the palace, there was no one who could see and hear his real name. Showing the contract also won't be the problem, because Naruto's signature is very specific, and it doesn't actually state his name, so if anyone is to see it, they won't be able to interpret the letters of the signature. With that settled, the only thing left was for Naruto to find a way to leave the Land of Rivers, without staying there all the time. Originally, he planned to make a shadow clone and leave it behind, but he realized that even if he doesn't do anything, the shadow clone will be released with just one little tap. All it would be needed is for the shadow clone to bump into someone, and that would be the end of him. Fortunately, Taya had a solution. Blood clone jutsu. It's a jutsu invented by the Uzumaki clan long ago, and is said to be the best clone jutsu out of all of them. All that was needed to make it, is to offer a little of the blood, and then perform hand seals, before the user taps the hand with the blood on it on the ground. The clone will immediately form out of that same blood, as well as chakra. The reason the blood clone is the best version of all clone jutsu, is because there are only 2 ways to release the blood clone. One is for the original to simply release the jutsu, and the other is for the blood clone to be killed off, just like the real person would have to be. If the blood clone is not released in one of those two ways, it could last for a long time. The blood clone will also age at the same speed as the regular human, so if a blood clone is made, and then left to live a normal life, with some luck, it could live long enough to reach old age and actually die of old age, and not by being released by the original or be killed off. The blood clone is one true version of clone jutsu, and all the others are just simple copies. Everything that the blood clone learns, gets back to the original after it's released. This is one of the original functions of the clone, and when the second Hokage made Shadow Clone Jutsu, he made it by performing the same hand seals as the ones needed for the blood clone jutsu, but without the blood offered, which is why the Shadow Clone sends the memories and experience back to the original after it disperses, but the lack of blood makes it considerably weaker than the blood clone. Some other functions of the blood clone are that, just as a regular human, the blood clone can replenish its chakra if it loses some, and just like the normal human, it can die from chakra exhaustion. Also, the clone can learn everything just as a regular human, but the problem with that is, if it is left created for a long time, and learns a lot of stuff, once it's finally released, the feedback to the original could be potentially catastrophic to the point it would melt the brain from the overload. Of course, that would be a problem for a normal human being, something that Naruto isn't, which is why he doesn't have to be worried about his brain melting, as even if that does happen, Naruto's high-speed regeneration is so high, that he could regenerate his whole body along with internal organs in case he is completely destroyed. It is considered to be an S-rank jutsu, but not because it takes a lot to make it, but because of its overall functions. The amount of chakra necessary to make it is equal to the A-rank jutsu, just like the regular Shadow Clone. So, once Naruto learned of this, he asked Taya to teach him the jutsu, and she did. Naruto was able to make a blood clone on his first try, but he spent about an hour training to master the jutsu to perfection, just in case. When the blood clone was created, Naruto and Taya left to continue their journey, while the blood clone was left behind to clean up the mess in the daimyo's palace. He is also to find himself people who will work for him, and to take care of the Katabami gold mine and make sure that everything there goes smoothly. Along with the Katabami gold mine, the original Naruto has tasked him to find the people for the other mine in the land, west of the Sound Country. XXX. After leaving the land of rivers, Naruto and Taya decided to head north, and check out some of the smaller countries which are located in between Land of Wind and the Land of Earth. Answer: 10 days after the Land of Rivers, Naruto and Taya found themselves in the Land of Birds, right in the middle of the civil war in the country. Instead of choosing sides in order to get the favor from that side, which would undoubtedly win with Naruto and Taya on their side, the two of them decided to check out the situation and how it came to the civil war. On one side of the war is Toki, the daughter of the previous daimyo of the Land of Birds, and the twin sister of Sagi, the guy who became daimyo after his father's death, but only stayed at the position for 6 months, before he was poisoned, which led to his death. Some of the soldiers who were loyal to her father and brother are on her side, but they are in minority. On the other side of the war is a guy called Moso, along with majority to the country. From what Naruto and Taya found out from asking some civilians, which by the way, weren't as much of them as there used to be, since many of them were collateral of the war, and have been killed either in battles, or by Moso's side in order to pressure Toki into giving up, as he knew that she is weak toward those who she cares about, and her family has always been known to care about the people they rule over. When Moso first showed up, he played a high priest, and ended up became a chief advisor to the daimyo, Awashi. After Awashi's death, which was caused by Moso poisoning him, not that anyone knew that, Sagi inherited the title of the daimyo from his father. Unfortunately, he was also poisoned by Moso, again, not that anyone knew this, because after this happened, Toki, disguised as her brother, making it seem as if she was the one who perished, while Sagi survived. In order to revenge her father's and brother's deaths, Toki dressed up as a cursed warrior, so that she can find out who killed her father and brother. This has eventually led Moso into sending Chishima, a friend of the late Sagi and Toki, to the Stone Village, so that he can hire a team to come to the Land of Birds in order to discover who the cursed warrior is, and to put a stop to him. The team came, and after a little while, it was discovered that Toki was playing the cursed warrior, and by discovering that she is alive, it was discovered that Sagi is dead, and that Toki has been keeping this a secret from everyone. In the end, this led to many turning their backs to her, except a few who stayed on her side. Even when it was revealed that Moso isn't actually who he said he was, but was instead a missing nin called Hoki, and that the man working for him are in fact all members of the Wandering Clan, along with Hoki, it didn't change anything, since by then, Hoki has made an agreement with the Stone Village, and now they were on his side. According to the agreement, Stone Village will help Hoki take over the Land of Birds, but the Land of Birds will become Stone's allies, and will be allowed to use the land and resources of the Land of Birds as they see fit. Hoki agreed to this, because he knew he won't find an easier way to win the civil war and take over as the daimyo. He also knew that Stone won't try to screw him over, because they wouldn't be able to take over the Land of Birds and annex it as a part of the Land of Earth. The other great nations wouldn't like that, especially the Land of Wind, and could mean the start of the Fourth Great Ninja War, which no one wanted. At least not at that point. So, the Stone joined forces with Hoki, and, what would have been a long-lasting war between two sides of close power, immediately went in Hoki's favor, as Toki and her side didn't have manpower to fight against Hoki and Stone at the same time. What Toki and her side needed was the help from outside force, who will at least deal with Stone, while Toki's side deals with Hoki's man. Once they found out the current situation in the Land of Birds, and what led to the war, Naruto and Taya made a decision to pay a visit to Toki, in order to make a deal with her. And the deal was made. Naruto and Taya offered to help Toki win the war, but in exchange, Naruto wanted to be the leader of the Land of Birds from the shadows, while everyone else will believe that Toki is the true leader. That way, he will have control over the country, and their resources, while Toki will get her wish of having a relatively free country, without the criminals leading it, as they would do. Kami only knows what with her country. Naturally, Toki wasn't exactly happy with Naruto's proposal, but she couldn't refuse his offer, as she knew that if she refuses, then the Land of Birds will end up in the hands of the criminals, and the Land of Earth, who will extract everything they want, while leaving people to suffer. Naruto's offer to let her lead the country as she wishes, except in a situations when he needs something, was too good to refuse, and so in the end, she accepted. Answer: Naruto sent Taya to deal with Hoki and those who work for him, while Naruto went to deal with Earth ninjas sent by the Tsuchikage. Taya proved her strength once again by defeating, relatively easily, Hoki and his right and left-hand man, Hokushin and Nagare. They weren't weak by any means, but compared to Taya, they might as well have been academy students. As for the remaining members of Hoki's group, they were barely above civilian level, compared to Taya. The battle ended, with all members of Hoki's Wandering Clan slayed by Taya's hands, and she didn't even have to go anywhere close to all out. Oh well, at least Hoki, Hokushin and Nagare all had bounties on their heads, so there will be some use for them, even if they didn't give her the kind of battle that she wanted. Naruto's opponents were actually stronger than Taya's, and not only they were stronger, but they were more numerous. Stone has decided to take no chances, so they have sent quite a few of their relatively powerful shinobi. Not the most powerful, but still powerful and experienced. The weakest among the group are so-called, the three brothers, named, Awaji, Iwakyo and Awazo. Since they were the weakest, and had nothing special among them, Naruto killed them all with one punch, each. This showed how big the difference between Naruto and regular humans is, in terms of overall power, as, even Tsunade with her legendary strength, wouldn't be able to kill someone with a single punch, well unless of course, that someone is a civilian or an academy student. The next group which attacked Naruto, were the few surviving members of the famous Kamizuru clan. Kamizuru was a clan of Byuses from the Stone Village who were once very well known and revered, but they have lost their status after the defeat at the hands of the Aberrane clan of Konoha. It is said that the first Tsuchikage was a member of Kamizuru clan. After the defeat, they fell out of favor in the stone, and over the next years, most of them have perished, leaving only few of them, who are now taking as many missions as possible in order to have their clan acknowledged. Now, while the clan has fallen out of favor in the recent decades, the current third Tsuchikage, Onoki, is the member of the clan, and commands great power and respect in stone. The thing is, though, that Onoki, and his granddaughter Kuretsuki, have different powers compared to the powers of their clan, which is the control over bees. As such, they are better acknowledged in the village, compared to the clan members who can't do anything except control bees, and battle with them. Outside of Onoki and Kuretsuki, the only other members of the Kamizuru clan are Suzumebachi, Kurobaki and Jabaki, and they are the ones who were sent to the Land of Birds along with some other shinobi of the stone. After the three brothers were defeated, the three members of the Kamizuru clan went against Naruto, who let them show what they know, and to see if there is something useful to them, which he can use for his gain. It took him less than a minute to realize that among the three, the only one with some talent is Suzumebachi, so Naruto killed her two brothers right in front of her eyes, much to Suzumebachi's horror and despair, and then he proceeded to beat the crap out of her. Once Naruto was done, he left her defeated and unconscious body to lie on the ground, while he dealt with the rest of the stone's forces. Stone Kanoiki, with black hair and two red bangs, along with the sword on her back, was the next one to go after Naruto. She proved she has the power to back up her rank of Jonin, by using several B and A rank Earth Jutsu, the strongest of which was the Earth and Stone Dragon, but everything she tried against Naruto was useless in the end, as he is just too powerful for her. In the end, she was defeated by Naruto, but wasn't killed. Naruto will simply let her get away this one time, though if they cross paths one more time, well, it will hardly end up in the way Stone Kanoiki would want. Seeing that Naruto has picked apart everyone else, the last two Stone Ninja decided to go after Naruto at the same time. The two of them were by far the strongest among all Stone Ninja who were sent to the land of birds by the Tsuchikage, and thought that by attacking Naruto at the same time, they will win easily. They thought wrong. 5 minutes into the battle, Naruto got bored and decided to end it. Unfortunately for Gary of the explosion style and Kako of the dust style, Naruto got interested in their bloodlines, which means that there won't be any form of afterlife for them. Arrancar have an interesting power called Gonzui, which allows them to suck out the souls of others, and by doing that, increase their Ryutsu. This is one of the common abilities of Arrancars. One of the abilities Aroniero Ararueri had was Hollow Absorption, which allowed him to not only absorb Ryutsu of the hollows he consumes, but also their abilities and knowledge. Naruto can use both Gonzui and Hollow Absorption, but his power and skill allows him to take this to a whole new level, which is why he is capable of consuming the souls of humans, and by doing that, he can gain their knowledge and any special power or bloodline they might possess. While Naruto, with all the Arrancar and Soul Reaper powers he has, doesn't really need to get any of the ninja powers, he found the explosion release and dust release interesting enough to acquire them. Will he use them or not, is to be seen in the future, but even if he was never to use them, those two bloodlines are now a part of him, which means that if he was to have children one day, they might awaken those bloodlines. With Gary's and Kako's souls and powers sucked away by Naruto, their bodies fell on the ground, dead. Naruto then walked over to where Suzumebachi's defeated body was lying, and picked her up, before he headed to meet with Taya and the new daimyo of the land of birds, Toki. He noted it down, though, to send Taya to seal the heads of Gary and Kako, so that they can cash in their heads, as they both had bounties on them. The samurai and guards, as well as civilians of the land of birds, who sided with Moso, and who have survived the battle against Toki and her side, have been rounded up after Moso's defeat. Toki wasn't happy that all those people sided with someone they barely knew, and who has killed the previous two daimyo. Because of that, she has ordered the execution of all those who went against her. Because of the civil war, and because of Toki's order, the population of the land of birds has dropped by over 10% of the total population in less than 2 months since the start of the war, which concluded with the mass execution. After the execution, and the mass body torching, and as per the agreement between Naruto and Toki, Toki has taken over as the daimyo of the land of birds. Of course, she is just a figurehead and the real leader is Naruto, but there is no need for anyone outside of Naruto, Taya and Toki, to know of that. The bodies of the stone ninja who were killed have been burned along with all the other deceased. Of the only 2 survivors from the stone shinobi who were in the land of birds, one has been allowed to leave with her life and with a message to the Tsuchikage, while Suzumebachi has been taken by Naruto as he has plans for her. Taya has taken the heads of Gary and Kako, and sealed them inside of a scroll, since Naruto plans to cash in their heads, just like he did with Raiga's head. With the civil war in the land of birds over, it was time for Naruto, Taya and Suzumebachi to continue their journey. It took about 2 days, but Naruto was able to convince Suzumebachi to join him, instead of going back to Stone, since there is literally nothing left for her there. She was pissed off at Naruto because of the defeat she suffered at his hands, but most of all, because of the fact Naruto killed her siblings. Because of that, she refused to join him, which is why, in the end, it took 2 days to change her mind. Of course, Naruto could have used force to make her join him, but he knew that in the long run, it wouldn't work, since she will never trust him. Naruto was finally able to convince her to join him, when he told her of his plan to rebuild the Whirlpool country, and told her that if she joins him, she will have a chance to rebuild her clan from scratch. That offer was more that Suzumebachi could ever hope to get from anyone, and considering how she and her clan were treated in the stone, she knew that if she goes back, she will be killed off. Seeing that there is no other choice, Suzumebachi accepted Naruto's offer, and has joined him on his journey. Before they left, though, Naruto decided to leave a blood clone with Toki, to act as her guard, and to train her forces so that they could defend themselves in case of an attack by another mercenary group or in case of an attack by one of the shinobi villages. Naruto decided to have his clone transform and look like someone else, since his face will become quite known in the end very soon. The blood clone transformed into Ulquiorra Cipher. A week after they arrived in the land of birds, Naruto and Taya left, now with new addition to their small group, in Suzumebachi. They headed west, to another of the countries, located in between the land of wind and the land of earth. XXX. After what they've done to his shinobi, Naruto and Taya were sure that the Tsuchikage won't be happy when he hears that most of the forces he sent to the land of birds are dead, while one was taken away, and only one was left alive. They were both right about that. Tsuchikage was not happy, and has immediately decided to add both Naruto and Taya into the bingo book. Now, while Taya was already in the bingo book from before, and he knew who she was and had some information of her, the Tsuchikage knew nothing about Naruto, except his physical description. He didn't even know his name, since the Kunoichi who Naruto left alive, didn't know his name. As such, Naruto's picture in the bingo book was hand-drawn, and the information was scarce. It was only written what the stone Kunoichi knew, which is that Naruto has insane physical strength, that he is a swordsman, and that he has some strange abilities, which allowed him to kill 2A rank shinobi without even touching them. Even though they didn't have much information about him, the Tsuchikage still decided to mark Naruto as an S-rank threat, with a capture alive order. He wants him alive so that he hand Naruto to a team of special researchers who will dissect him in order to find out about Naruto's powers. Taya was already an S-rank ninja, so in her case, nothing was changed, except the fact that she is now wanted by the stone as well, and not only by the cloud and sound. As of that day, Naruto and Taya got to the stone's shit list. XXX. Konoha has also got quite interested in Naruto and Taya, after they heard about them from Tenten, Lee and Neji. When the three genin of Team 9 told the elders about what happened in the Katabami gold mine, the three relics of the old were both annoyed and interested. They were annoyed because, not only did their genin practically failed the mission, as they couldn't take out Raiga, but they were also annoyed because they lost the chance to get their hands on the Katabami gold mine. They will admit that they didn't have high hopes of acquiring that mine, but they did hope that Team 9 will defeat the Kurosuke family, thus leaving the Katabami gold mine without anyone to run it, thus giving Konoha a chance to come and take them for themselves. That all failed with the arrival of Naruto and Taya, who killed Raiga, and then took over the mine. On the other hand, they were interested in both Naruto and Taya, as they seemed to be strong. Of course, once Team 9 described Naruto and Taya, Danzo pulled out the bingo book and showed the entry on the 74th page. The moment they saw the entry, Team 9 recognized Taya, and confirmed it was her. As for Naruto, they didn't have anything, so they were blind when it comes to him. But, in the eyes of the elders, Taya is an extremely powerful S-rank Kunoichi, who has managed to achieve something barely few before her did. Danzo didn't say though, what is it that Taya has achieved, even though he saw the curious looks on the faces of Team 9. Now, at that point, Taya was already in the Cloud and Sounds bingo books, as an S-rank ninja, and Danzo, along with the other two elders, knew that Taya used to be a part of Sound and worked for Orochimaru. The fact that she is now with someone else, and that she is in the Sounds bingo book as of few weeks ago, meant that she has switched her allegiance from Orochimaru to someone else. That means that even though the elders know nothing about the person with whom Taya is traveling right now, they could guess that he is more powerful than both Taya and Orochimaru, otherwise, Taya wouldn't go with him and abandon the Sound. The fact that there is someone like Stark out there made the elders sweat, because he has no allegiance to any village nor group, and for all they know, he will one day become the enemy of Konoha. Of course, the thought of someone as powerful as Naruto potentially joining Konoha made them almost salivate. Once they heard about what happened in the Katabami gold mine, the elders had to make a decision. They will add Naruto and Taya into Konoha's bingo book, and mark them as S-rank ninja, with a capture alive order, or they will simply let them be for now. They know that if they don't add them into the bingo book, some other village might get their hands on them before Konoha, but the problem with adding them into the bingo book is that none of the two have ever done anything against Konoha and the Fire Country. The people in the bingo book are always criminals, and missing ninja, and while Naruto and Taya might be classified as such, they are neither missing ninja from Konoha, nor they are criminals who did something to Konoha and Fire Country. That means that if Konoha adds them into bingo book, just because they want them for themselves, they could draw the wrath of two S-rank ninja, and at this point in time, no one in Konoha, not even Danzo, wants that. In the end, the decision was made, to simply let Naruto and Taya alone, for now. They will see what happens in the future, and if the chance presents itself, they might add them into the bingo book. They did decide, though, to alert their shinobi about those two, in case some other of their ninja run into the two. By doing that, they will tell their shinobi to try and convince Naruto and Taya, in a polite way, to join Konoha, saying things like, how it is definitely better to be a part of one of the 5 great hidden villages, than to go around and hunted by other villages. The 3 elders completely forgot about the information that Tenten gave them. The fact that Naruto and Taya are planning to build their own country, means that they have no intention of joining any village, even the 5 great ones. XXX. After the land of birds, Naruto, Taya and Suzumebachi headed west, to the land of vegetables. On the way, Naruto wanted to learn about the small countries which are located in between the land of wind and the land of earth. Those were the countries he plans to visit before he heads to the whirlpool, and he wanted to know what he can expect. From what Taya, but mostly Suzumebachi told him, Rain Country is the first country which is bordering both earth and wind, to the east. From there, onward to the west, there is the land of birds, which they just visited, and then there is the land of vegetables, which they are heading toward. The land of vegetables is a small nation, not very rich or powerful, but peaceful, and from what little Taya and Suzumebachi knew, the daimyo is a nice man, who cares about his people. Even though it is located between 2 of the great nations who have bad history with each other, the land of vegetables was never used as a battleground for the stone and sand shinobi, unlike the rain, who gets raided and partly destroyed in every single war between the stone, sand and leaf. Land of birds was also never used as a battleground, just like the land of vegetables. Neither Taya nor Suzumebachi said anything about the current situation in the land of vegetables, since they didn't know. Rain Country and the land of birds are standing between the land of rivers and the land of vegetables, so Taya never saw any reason to learn much about small, rural country. The same was with Orochimaru, who never had any interest in any of the small countries west of the rain, so even when she was working with him, she didn't learn anything about the land of vegetables, except what everyone knows. Suzumebachi didn't know anything else about the country, for the simple reason that she wasn't interested. West of the land of vegetables, there is the land of mountains, and that is the last country which borders both wind and earth. The land of mountains, while not much bigger than the lands of birds and vegetables, does have their own hidden village, unlike the previous 2. The name of the hidden village is the village hidden in stones. According to Suzumebachi, the land of mountains and their hidden village have close ties to the land of earth, and have been allies for a long time. In the times of war, the land of mountains would always assist the land of earth in their battles against the land of wind. The land of mountains is by no means a peaceful country, unlike the lands of birds and vegetables. It has a hidden village, they are allied with the stone, and have a great many Kekkei Genkai users, who have always been of help to the stone village, and the pain in the ass for the sand and other enemies of their own country and the enemies of the stone. Taya said she has never been there, but Orochimaru did, and didn't find the place interesting, even with as many Kekkei Genkai users the land of mountains has. Suzumebachi then said that more to the west, there is only the land of valleys, and there are 2 more, which are toward north from the land of valleys, and 1 toward south from the land of valleys. The country to the north is the land of iron, which is an independent country, and has no shinobi, but has samurai, while the land to the south is the land of sand, and they are known to be sand's allies. The land of the valleys are stone's allies. Once Taya and Suzumebachi finished explain what they know about the small lands in the western part of the EN, Naruto thought about it for a while. He thought about what to do and where to head after they leave the land of vegetables. In the end, he decided that they will go through most, if not all of those countries, but will try not to draw attention while in the countries which are allied with the stone and sand, as well as the land of iron, since he doesn't see any point in getting himself known too much to the N. Not yet at least. XXX. Naruto and Taya couldn't believe what was going on, when they arrived in the land of vegetables. It seems that wherever they set foot, a coup d'etat is happening. The two of them, along with Suzumebachi, have arrived in the capital of the land of vegetables, and found out that three brothers, Janin, by the names of Raiga, Jiga and Raiga, have arrived in the land of vegetables, and were able to convince majority of the country's leaders to turn on the country's daimyo and betray him. Once the majority of the leaders, as well as majority of the people in the capital have turned on the current daimyo and joined the Janin, the daimyo was executed. But then, the Janin ended up revealing that they never planned to honor the agreement they had with the people who betrayed their former daimyo, and so, the three brothers, killed them all, after which, they went to find the daughter of the former daimyo, Haruna, so that they can kill her as well. They left behind some of their forces, though, so that they can keep an eye on the people who were still alive, and in case something unexpected happens. Something unexpected did happen, though. None of the Janin expected Naruto, Taya and Suzumebachi to arrive in the land of vegetables. Even more, the brothers couldn't even dream that Naruto would decide to save the country, and along with Taya and Suzumebachi, they killed all the ninja, who were working for the Janin, and were left to keep an eye at the capital. The Janin were in for a big surprise when they get back to the capital. XXX. Unfortunately for the Janin, not all of them will be returning to the capital. The daughter of the former daimyo of the land of vegetables, has disguised as a man, and along with her two most trusted guards used a caravan to escape from the Janin. Her guards, have managed to hire a team from Leaf, under the pretense of helping the peddlers move their wares in a D-ranked mission. A three-man team was sent from Konoha to do this mission. Members of this team were Shikamaru Nara, Hinata Hyuga, and Choji Akamaki, with Shikamaru as the team leader, as he is the only one in the team with the rank of Chunin, while the other two were genin. The three of the, along with the help of one of Haruna's guards, the other one was killed by the youngest of the brothers, were able to defeat the youngest brother, who was then killed by the second brother, who didn't want to share the spoils in 3 parts. Unfortunately for that brother, he would also be killed in the battle against Hinata. This has left the oldest, and by far, the most powerful of the Janin, who didn't have any trouble in defeating the 3 Konoha ninja, along with Haruna's guard, before he captured Haruna, and took her with him back to the capital, as he has planned to execute her in front of all of her people. XXX. Imagine Renga's surprise, when he came back to the land of vegetables capital, with Haruna dragged behind him, only to find the corpses of the people he left to look after the capital. He was shocked first, before he got angry at the through that trained ninja have failed him and got killed by a bunch of civilians. He was even more surprised when he arrived in the daimyo's palace, only to find Naruto seating at the throne chair, with Taya and Suzumebachi, standing on his sides. The smirk he saw on Naruto's face, was infuriating. Long story short, Naruto told him that he has disposed of all the ninja who were in the capital, and then proceeded to face off against Renga. Not only Naruto, but Taya and Suzumebachi were very interested when they saw Renga's powers, especially when the battle moved outside of the castle, where Renga was able to use his full powers because of the sun. Naruto was interested enough, that he has decided to acquire Renga's powers for himself. It didn't matter to him that he might never use those powers. To him, they were interested, and he will get his hands on every form of power he finds interesting. When he was certain that he has seen the full extent of Renga's powers, Naruto sucked out his soul, and by doing that, he absorbed Renga's memories and powers. Naruto did wish that he could just suck out the power from the souls, and forego the memories, because sometimes, seeing memories of other people, makes him sick when he sees the kind of people there and all the horrors they have done. Considering what Naruto has done while he was a hollow, the fact that he feels sick by some of the things he has seen in Gary's, Kako's and Renga's memories, shows the kind of bastards the three of them were. With Renga dead, and Naruto now having his powers, Naruto then turned his sights at Haruna, who, once she saw the way Naruto was looking at her, felt fear unlike any other before. It would turn out, that there was no need to be afraid, because it took her a minute after Naruto started to talk, to realize that he doesn't seem to want to harm her, but it turns out, that he does want the land of vegetables to be his. Of course, Haruna didn't like this, but she didn't dare say that, because Naruto just might change his mind, and then kill her. If he does that, he will simply make himself the next daimyo, and there wouldn't be anyone who would be able to stop him. On the other hand, if she finds a way to make him change his mind, and leave her country alone, then she will become the daimyo and her people would be safe. Unfortunately for her, she wasn't able to convince Naruto to just leave peacefully and let her rule her own country. Fortunately for her, Naruto was willing to let her make everyone believe that she is the leader of the country, while he will be the true leader from the shadows. Naruto promised that if she accepts this offer, she will be able to do as she wants, while he will only give her orders on the most important matters. Basically, he offered her the same agreement as the one he has with Toki and the Land of Birds. In the end, Haruna didn't have other choice but to accept Naruto's offer, as she knew that things will end badly for everyone but him, if she was to refuse. Naruto, Taya and Suzumebachi then introduced themselves. Naruto was using his fake name, while Taya and Suzumebachi their real ones. At that moment, Naruto sensed that the Leaf Ninja are heading toward them. He realized that Shikamaru, Hinata and Choji are the ones who are coming, and since he didn't want to have another run-in with Konoha Ninja so soon after the Katabami gold mine, he created a blood clone, much to Haruna's shock, before he, along with Taya and Suzumebachi left, leaving the blood clone behind. The blood clone then went and transformed into Coyote Stark, before he proceeded to explain to Haruna what he is, and why the original created him and left him behind. By the time Konoha Ninja arrived in the castle, Naruto, Taya and Suzumebachi have already been halfway through the capital on their way toward the next destination on their journey. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.